to start my college experience at Kennesaw State University has been amazing. Kennesaw State University is not where I saw myself being 2 or 3 years ago. I never even visited KSU until my senior year of high school. After visiting this campus, KSU moved from not even being on the radar to my number 2 choice if I stayed in Georgia. I love this campus, administration, and other students who attend this university. I believe that I have changed a lot and realized that change is not always a negative thing. I have grown as a person. Before attending KSU, I was very studious, reserved, but sometimes closed-minded. While I am still very studious, I am very social and open now. I enjoy going out and having fun. I take pleasure in attending events held on campus and getting to know other people. You really cannot judge people off your first impression. You should not form an opinion if you're not knowledgeable on the topic or belief. Making informed decisions is very important, not just in college, but in life. I have also learned to be more independent. When I lived at home, I knew everything would be taken care of. I have the best parents in the world, and I knew that they would do any and everything to make sure I had what I needed to be successful. During my first semester in college, I have learned how to take care of myself and prepare myself for any and every situation. College taught me how to grow up really fast and become responsible for my own actions. College is what I dreamed of and more. A few days before moving into my dorm, I questioned myself and wondered if I was ready to make this big transition in my life. Most of my peers were ready to move out of their house and experience the freedom of living alone and not always having someone look over your shoulder. Most of my peers have strict parents and used to have to sneak around and lie just to have fun. My parents never really tripped about anything as long as I took care of everything I needed to do. My parents made sure I was on track to be the best me I needed to be. I didn't need to strive to reach somebody else's goals. I needed to set my own and exceed my own expectations. Since I've been in college, I've learned and been able to experience a lot. I love having the freedom to make my own schedule and choosing what time I want to have classes. I have the freedom to wake up, walk to the commons, eat whatever I want, study, and then decide to go to the gym and work out. If you go out at night, you don't have anybody waiting for you to come in. You don't have anyone to wake you up for the next morning telling you that you have class. There's nobody checking on your grades daily. Really, anything is imaginable at college. Every day is a new day with new possibilities. Some things I've learned about myself or I didn't know before. I did not realize how hardworking I was. In high school, people used to always tell me that I was an overachiever, and I would just respond with, "You're not trying hard enough." But in college, I have been told the same thing by people who I thought worked just as hard as I did. People in my classes started looking up to me and expecting my work to always be outstanding and exactly what the professor was looking for. In my head, I always just followed the guidelines provided by the administrator, but apparently I do a lot more than that. I do not do the bare minimum, which most of my peers find completely acceptable. Also, I have learned to push myself even harder. lot of thought into figuring out something I would do differently. After much consideration, I think I would have joined a club or organization. During the first few weeks on campus, I attended several meetings that had to do with different ways to get involved on a college campus. There were several interest meetings that I actually went to, got to see what each organization was about, and how the people who were leading the groups interacted. After spending all of that time trying to figure out what I was interested in, I decided that I probably should not participate in anything because I knew that I would only be at Kennesaw State University for one semester. This was a very hard decision to make because I have always been very involved with my school and the environment that surrounds it. I have never been the type of person who would just wake up, go to class, and then go back to my room for the rest of the day. I enjoy meeting new people, networking, planning events, and making my school a better place. The reason I decided that I probably should not become a part of anything is because I did not want to commit to something that I knew I would not be able to fulfill my duties to the fullest. I felt like I would not be able to make a big of enough impact on this campus in one semester as a freshman. While reflecting back, I was probably wrong. I feel like I would have enjoyed this semester a lot more if I got to know people a lot earlier. I have met good people while attending this institution, but I feel like I got to know these people a little too late. One other thing I would have done differently is work less hours. I have dropped off job applications the day I set foot on campus. I got called back for interviews from basically every place I applied for at the mall. I accepted a job offer during my first week on campus because I wanted to have my own spending money. Getting a job sounded like a great idea, especially one that involved working at the mall. With my class schedule, on average, I was working 20 to 25 hours a week. This involved me going to work straight from class. In the beginning, it was okay, but as time progressed, I ended up working more hours because I took other people's shifts, which interfered with me doing a lot of other things, including missing a lot of campus events that I wanted to go to. What class did you get the most out of? Most college classes are influential. It's weird because I would say I got the most out of one of my hardest classes. I do not know if I would say that I got the most out of it because I felt like I needed to listen harder and pay more attention because I knew I was not comfortable in the subject. The class I decided on is microeconomics. Microeconomics is not a class that most first year students take because there are two math prerequisites that you have to have completed in high school through the dual enrollment program. I felt like I should go ahead and take this class because I needed it for my major, which is sports marketing. Also, I took economics in high school and fell in love with it. Everything in that class just clicked in my mind because I've always had a passion for business, so the concepts come easily and I'm able to make connections. I think this is why I got the most out of this course. In microeconomics, I was able to relate what I was learning in class to what was going on every day in my life. The only struggle I had with this class was understanding my professor. Because he was not from the United States, his English was very broken. I did feel like he provided us with enough information and resources to make sure that we had the opportunity to be successful in his class. In all, I enjoyed this course a lot, and I feel like I have learned so much that will help me further in my major and in life, period. What are your goals for next semester? I have so many goals for next semester. On December 10th, I have orientation for the University of Georgia. On that date, I will be obtaining one of my goals, which is to finally attend my dream school. I have to register for classes, figure out where I will be living, and confirm my roommate arrangements. I move in the first week of January and start classes on the second week of January. One goal I have set for next semester is to try to keep my Zell Miller scholarship. I have worked so hard up to this point that I do not want all of my hard work to go down the drain. So my goal is to attain all A's next semester. Another goal of mine is to have a consistent study schedule. I plan on having particular hours reserved just for me to study daily so that I do not get behind in any of my classes, especially when it comes to reading for certain classes. Also, I want to force myself to exercise at least 3 to 4 times a week and drink more water. Lastly, I want to plan a vacation to Panama City Beach with my roommate and a couple of other people for spring break and have it paid in full by February. I am so excited to be attending the University of Georgia and finally getting settled in for the next 4 years. I cannot wait to see what that institution has in store for me. Has any activity outside of my coursework changed the way I think about a specific topic? I think living on campus changes every college student's life. On-campus housing is probably one of the best things any college could add. Even though living on campus is expensive, it's definitely worth it. I believe that through this experience, the way I think about how important your environment impacts your success has changed completely. Before moving in, I thought that it did not matter whether I stayed on campus or commuted, especially since I knew that I would only be at this institution for one semester. Now I know a student's entire college experience can be altered depending on this one thing. I know a lot of people who decided that they did not want to live on campus due to the fact that they could not get their housing in on time or they didn't want to pay rent every month, so on. These students have to deal with so many other issues that I do not even come in contact with just because I do live on campus. One big issue that a lot of students who commute have to deal with is outside distractions. Once these students get back home after classes, they might have to deal with a younger sibling or a parent that's down their back about something. Some students have even larger issues than that at home. Another issue that a lot of students who commute face is trying to get to class on time. There's always so much traffic in areas located around college campuses. If they do not want to wake up on time or their morning does not go perfectly, they could end up missing an entire class. By the time they get on campus, park, and then walk to class. If you live on campus, it's just so easy to get up, get ready, go get breakfast, and walk to class. Lastly, a lot of students who commute face the issue of missing events that happen on campus because they do not want to drive back and forth between their house and campus. Most students who commute would rather participate in activities that are going on while they are already on campus, rather than leaving and coming back. The only issue with that is that in most cases the commuter students that are on campus have class and can't participate in those activities.